There we go. Okay. I think everybody got all the multitude of pieces of paper. But if not, we've got some more up front if we need them. So this greeting and devotion that I have, I picked it because it is the same one that we had in January at the beginning of the year. And I thought it was kind of interesting to look at it with a new perspective 12 months later. So this is from the London Yearly Meeting of 1936. It says, "It has been the experience of this yearly meeting in the past to know that friends have met in division and uncertainty, and that then guidance has come and light has been given to us, and we have become finders of God's purpose. This gives us ground for confidence. We shall not be held back by the magnitude of the questions which are to come before us, nor by a sense of our own unworthiness." Now, I remember back in January, I didn't like the word unworthiness, and I still don't love it, but the sentiment of the devotion I do still like, because back in January, we didn't have our pastor yet, and we were still searching, and we had maybe started talking about maybe asking Charity to come and see us and talk to us, but it was still very up in the air. There's lots of uncertainty. And as we have experienced in this year, we have received guidance and light has been given to us, and we have a pastor and it's really cool. And I think this is still relevant for the year to come as well. In a big way, because what we'll talk about today in our reports and things, there's still a lot of uncertainty about the physical building, the physical space where we are. We've had a lot of cool things happen this year. We've made a lot of connections with other groups and organizations in using the space, and it's been lovely in a lot of ways. But then there's also things like the air conditioner, which are still big question marks for a facility like this. So with that, I just kind of wanted to continue to encourage us that guidance will come and there will be clarity in this time of uncertainty, as there's always uncertainty. There's uncertainty in all parts of life at all times of the year, whether it's in January or whether it's in December, or whether it's in the really hot summer with our windows open. So with that, let's just take a moment to center before starting. God, you are so good. Please be with us as we continue to make decisions together for your direction, for your purpose, together as a group, even in uncertainty. Amen. So, news of the meeting. Anybody have any news of the meeting they would like to share? Good? Yes?
The thought did occur to me, what a joy it is to be a part of a body like this, how we can come and, express our concerns, our needs, and we support each other. And, I think of you all throughout the week, and in touch with Mary and thinking about the Benford family. And I'm just grateful that we have each other.
Thanks, Pam. I feel the same way. Okay. If there's not anything else, then we can always come back to this if we think of things. We're going to start with Beth and visitation. Question, is monthly meeting on Facebook Live? Thumbs up. Great.
Following that, what you just said, Pam, visitation, we sent out 25 cards, but actually 4 of them were hand delivered. Sue took one to Dana Shannon, and Donna Drew. Then she's past visitor for, and you think it's what? Rana Druin. Okay. And Charity and I went to Heston and delivered one to Jeannie Pitts and Stan, and did you know that? I wondered if she told you. And Stan and Eloise Brown. So it's a really nice connection that we make, and really appreciate any concerns that you have that we may not have thought of, to share it with one of us so we can reach out. I mean, you can too, but anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Beth. All right, Doug, the assets report. Have this if you want to look at it. Oh, good.
Hi, guys. We had a lengthy assets meeting this week, and several things to talk about. The first thing that we talked about, Sue Wine brought to us. She has been doing lots of research into healthcare for charity, which we will have to start addressing probably after the first of the year at some point. And so we're looking at our options in that. And so one of the things that we are looking at is the Friends Mutual Health Group. And Sue did quite a bit of work regarding that. And so the church will join that organization if we elect to go that way. And it seems sort of likely that we will at this point, but we still probably have some other bridges to explore, perhaps, as we come. And as a member, what we do is we pay, to become a member, we will pay the amount equal to 1 month of what the premium will be in months following, and it's sort of a security membership with the organization to ensure that they're being paid month to month, okay? And our portion of the bill will be $300 a month, which is what we set out in our original contract with charity, and then whatever is an additional, that will be an expense to charity. And so all those things are being weighed as we approach this decision, okay? So that's one thing we did. We decided that Molly and I would meet separately and work on a budget for next year, for our monthly meeting for next year, our church. And we did that, which Molly will present that in a bit. Just for your information, we opened a new bank account with Conway Bank, and that was because we were faced with so many difficulties. We had substantial checks to deposit at Bank of America, and we couldn't get it done. And so we opened a new account, and you can now write the check any way you like, as long as it is Friends Church or University Friends Church, University Friends Meeting. Either one of those are completely acceptable. We did tell them that sometimes people call us UFM or UFC also, and so those would probably be okay. And if you wanted to write it to the University Monthly Meeting of Friends, that will also, because that is our official name. Okay. So anyway, we did that, and we deposited all of those two big checks, which were the sale of our property, and we also had a $12,000 check for roofing on our house on Vine Street. Not on Vine Street, on University Street, for a roof, and we had to put those things in, and we now have received the checks, so we can pay out of that account now. So we will be terminating paying anything out of the Bank of America account. We will let that thing settle until all things have come back through. Then we will close that account. So, so we're moving to Conway Bank, and we're really happy about it. Also, it's easy to get to. Pam will give the finance report in a bit. Building use, building and property use. There are, as a family in our house on Vine Street now, there's 3 adults, a man, his wife, his sister, and 3 children who live there. And all those details will be handled through the management company. We had been working with a guy who was rewiring us for a new internet service, and there was a little delay in that because he was sick for a while, but that has been completed. And I think that do they go on automatically if they were on before? Do they need new passwords? It should be working. So okay. We're connected before on your phone or device. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought that was the understanding, but I thought I'd better make sure before I go spouting off. Okay, so that has been done. We were notified by the fire department that we needed to make a change in the door down in the scouts area that exits into the back stairway. And it has a knob on it that's difficult to turn. In case of a fire, it could be too hot to handle. You know, these are the new regulations. And so we had to explore whether to put a whole new door on it or change the hardware. We explored the cost of those things. It was $1,400 to do the hardware, and it was about just under $4,000 for us to change a door. And we elected to do the hardware. Okay. We are anticipating, yes, Joe.
Just to let you know, the Scouts Tuesday night, their key is really having a hard time turning and locking. So yeah, it really has problems.
Thank you. It will be taken care of as directly as we can get it done. I'm sure that Christina probably already notified them because, yeah, Friday morning, yeah. Joe, are you talking about the downstairs door? Yes, we are. Good question. I wasn't sure about that either. Okay. Another thing that that the fire people wanted us to do was to put Knox boxes on the outside of the building, and I think at the elevator too, perhaps. And we bought those. One of them was the incorrect one based on what they had told us. So now we have to sell that one and get a different one. But we are taking care of these things. Everyone knows that Doug is frustrated by these. We have some leaking windows, and we're waiting to get those fixed. They're on the north side of our building over here, and when it gets too rainy, we get water in there. But we have calls in, and I think we have decided who to do that with. I'm not positive if we did or not, but we do have some quotes being made anyway. Okay, we're waiting for 2 more quotes. Okay. So some things have been done, right? Okay. Cruise is coming this week. We have this ongoing business with our air conditioning, and we have some testing to be done of some of the refrigerant that's in there to confirm which direction we go, I guess. John and I are going to be talking to some advisors about which way we should go regarding our relationship with Cruise. With the Meeks House, the new year brings changes in what we have to charge them, and that goes with the, because taxes go up, and so we've made preparations to let them know that their bill will be going up, their monthly payment to us. We have ongoing relationships with both Clavis David School and Mary Seat of Wisdom as we continue to work with those within our space and try to make everything work as smoothly as possible. We will be looking for new insurance for our facility in the next month because Church Mutual, who took us last year, has decided they don't do churches with flat roofs in windy areas where it gets cold. It's really, really crazy. But we also just gave Charity authority to contact an electrician to get some work done at her house, that we have some electricity there that's not operating properly in her kitchen. We did talk about, but we haven't made a decision on doing some upgrades to our organ, which are basically their maintenance issues of a instrument that gets old and needs attention. And I think we have a fund for that type of thing, and we'll be figuring out exactly what we need and proceeding.
Anybody have any questions about any of that? It's a lot of information.
A lot longer to think about it than it did to tell it.
Yeah. All right. Pam, if you want to come talk about the treasurer's report.
We'll go over the general budget receipts first, looking at donations. Our donations for November were down slightly. However, our total looks good. We're on to make budget, and so that is a good thing. The outreach, the committees, ministering council outreach, all the committees, when they have budget lines, we are on budget other than ministering council, and that is over slightly. We've had a lot of expenses in there with paying speakers up to when Charity came, and I think some the travel for Charity was in there, and so that is what has put that over some. The facility expense, it's always kind of interesting to see, okay, where our money is going for that. So Linda is good about providing what expenses we had in F40 line item. And so it was $190 for a voltage check from Reset by Evergy. So I don't really understand what that exactly means. Oh, okay, why don't you explain that?
We had an unfortunate squirrel that met its demise on the transformers. By the transformers, it knocked out one of them, but not the other. So we had partial power, but not full power. So we called them out, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and they just flipped a switch, and then it was fine.
they must have had that call before, and it must have been a squirrel in the past. Yeah, so thank you, squirrels. Yeah, so $190 worth. Thank you, Charity, for clarifying that. We had $105 to Central Key, just changing out, replacing some of the cylinders. $513.25 went to leak on the drain line, and $1,376 went to backflow preventer rebuild. And the ongoing costs of the Knox box, we paid Conco $138 to install the one that we have, and there will be additional ones, or do we have to take out what has been installed? It'll just be additional. That is Knox box installed. We've already paid $130 to Conco. Will there just be additional installs, or is this one installed improperly? Okay, Charity. All right.
So we have two. One's outside. It's fine. It's perfect. It's exactly what we needed. They said, you need 2 Knox boxes. This is what you need. And so we ordered 2 of them, but the elevator one is different. So the one for the elevator key is really long, and so it's a different shape and yada, yada. So that one was installed by the elevator. It will get uninstalled, and the new one will get installed. So there will be some install cost, but we're hoping to recoup the cost of the actual Knox box by selling it to someone else here in town who might need one. So if you hear of anything.
Well, all businesses need them. I know that we put them in at Wichita French School, and you know the fire department is just requiring them at all businesses and stuff. So surely we can sell that. $422 on just bolts from Home Depot, lumens, lead wrap and bolts, $348 to leaky windows, and $20 for plumbing parts at Parsonage, and $52 for the van registration renewal. So that is where a lot of the money is going, just upkeep and different things that are needed. So we are, our receipts are not paying for our expenses, and year to date, $65,309 that we are in the red. So if you look at our investments, and Doug mentioned, we just had we held onto the Quaker Acre check for quite a long time because we just could not get it deposited. Because it was made out to what was it? University Friends monthly meeting. Of Friends. Okay, I can't even repeat it. So we couldn't get it at Bank of America. We don't have a checking account at Intrust. We tried to see if we could get it deposited with Everence. They're not a bank, you know, so we would have to, and so they couldn't deposit. So that's why then Conway Bank, we made that contact, and I think it will be very beneficial to us. So that money is not reflected into either one of these reports. We'll see that in December. Another thing we had to, and this will be reflected in December, we had to take $30,000 from our investments and to be able to even pay our bills. So that will be reflected in the December financials. And we have a line item where we are were tracking the repay from Wichita Friends School on the loan that we gave them, and that begins in January. So we will start seeing that. And I did hear through Wichita Friends School that the solar panels, they're already really seeing the benefits of that and their utility bills. So that's a very positive thing. We also have another line on here that is parsonage bills paid by charity. I remember it was so clear when you said it at first. Is it because of your taxes that you have to, we just want to make sure that it shows what charity is actually paying?
So 2 reasons. The bills for the parsonage are in the church's name. So this way, you know, I'm paying my bills. Yay. Just a pat on the back for me. But then also, this is a record because the bills are in the church's name. It's proof that I'm paying out money that is designated in my salary. So it's a tax issue. So 2 things, just because I love credit, and 2 for taxes.
Thank you. So that will be reflected on this in the future. Or actually, I guess it is right now, and we'll continue. So I do not think that the financials have to be approved. I think next month, since it is quarterly. And any questions on any of these things? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Which leads us to the proposed budget for 2024, which is this sideways paper, and it goes from one page to the next. It printed kind of funny. But what you're looking at here is, or are the numbers where it says 2023 total at the top. Those are the numbers from those are the real numbers from the November finance report. For those are like where we actually are right now at the end of November. And then I also included the 2023 budget. That's what the goal was. And then next to that is 2024 budget, which are numbers that have been adjusted slightly here and there and mean different things, which I'm going to kind of just go through and explain what different things mean, and then some thoughts on that, and then we can talk about it. So with J01 donations, our total donations are pretty similar at this point to what we anticipated them being. So I left that the same. Obviously there's some like notes on the side. About every year we have about $35,000 of transfers, whether that is from a transfer in an investment account, in addition to growth on investments to put towards the budget. So I left that the same as well. And as Pam mentioned, we did make a transfer of $30,000 that will be reflected on next month's finance report. So we did $30,000 already, and we'll need to look at what we need to do to finish out the year. But I just left that the same from year to year. Then we have the mortgage that's coming in from the Meeks. That mortgage number stays the same, even though their monthly payment will increase due to taxes. Taxes don't count towards our budget. So those are not included. And then with KO3, rent and other income, I kind of broke down where that number came from, but I also actually realized, as Pam was saying some things, I left something off. So I put in $950 a month for rent, assuming we'll have the Vine House rented for 12 months. Because for the most part, that's a safe assumption. There might be some flex time here and there if we have a change in renters, but hopefully we'll have somebody in there every month. CDS is Clivy's David School, and they are currently paying $760 a month, and their lease ends in ends July 30th. Thank you. Yes. What I have put on the budget reflects actual numbers. What we 100% know we will be receiving. And so it says July plus. So $760 a month for the next 7 months. 100% because that's what we have in our lease. Same thing for Mary Seat of Wisdom. They are paying $1,000 per month and their lease ends at the end of June. So I've accounted for $1,000 for the next 6 months. Now the likelihood of us renewing leases is pretty high for different groups. So, but I didn't want to put that in there until it was like we've officially renewed the lease with both groups. So what is reflected here is just through June and just through July. So saying we renew their leases, we will have more from them for the second half of the year. The other thing I did not include was the repayment of the Wichita Friends School loan. I did not put that in the budget because I forgot about it, but that will start in January. And I also don't remember the exact numbers, but I'm thinking it's like $200 or $250 a month. Okay, $200 a month. So that's another $2,400 that will be in there for the year, added to the budget. So this rent and other income will be a higher number in reality because it also doesn't reflect if Friends University is continuing to rent out spaces for different chunks of time. It doesn't reflect if other groups are renting out spaces. These are just the core things that we know for sure are coming in. And that number will be higher by the end of the year, which brings our total income to $169,120. You'll notice that in our expenses, the numbers are going to be different. So last year we had a higher budget for ministry and council because we were planning on pulpit support every week, which is $200 or $250 a Sunday for a guest speaker. So we had a higher budget there. We've put it back down to $2,000 because we now have a minister, and on her 5 Sundays off, we've decided that those will be, I think, if I'm relaying this correctly, those will be open worship Sundays, but maybe we'll have a guest speaker here and there. I'm not sure. But, so that's gone down to 2,000. And then I'm going to jump down to CO1 to outreach committee. We had a budget of 3,100 there and we've put it at 2,000. So ministry and council and outreach are the same. I just made them the same. And so that would be for purpose of Christian education or youth activities if we had them, that sort of thing. Office expenses, I put at $5,000 because that includes phone and internet, which is $300 a month. So 300 times 12, plus just general supplies, the copier. They spend maybe about $200 on paper for the whole year, not per month or anything like that. That'd be wild. But I just kind of rounded it up to 5,000 after the phone and internet and other expenses. With our giving, we had been giving $2,000 a year to Great Plains Yearly Meeting, $3,000 a year to Friends United Meeting, $2,000 to Family Promise, and $1,500 to Quaker Service. We talked about dropping those numbers just because of how high our expenses have been. And this is something that we can put up for conversation. But I put out what it would be that to give to Great Plains Yearly Meeting, it would be $250 paid quarterly instead of $500 paid quarterly. And Friends United Meeting, $500 paid quarterly instead of whatever it was, $750 or whatever it was. I can't do math in my head. I'm a social studies teacher on purpose. So you can see how those are divided out to the different groups. And we can talk about if that's what we actually want to do, or if we want to change it back to something else after I've gone through all of the different numbers. But just considering how high our expenses were and compared to our total income this year. I was just looking for different ways to kind of make adjustments. So going to the next page, pastor at E01, you have the actual in the first column, the budgeted for 23 in the second column, and then the actual for what it will be in 2024. That includes salary and retirement. And that's, oh, I didn't put the formula in my thing, but based on her package that we gave her, I took the salary information and her 401(b). And so that's what it comes out for the year for the pastor. I didn't put anything for travel reimbursement. The choir director has stayed the same. We didn't have anything on family ministries or childcare. I left that the same, which at this point is pretty consistent for our congregation as far as childcare necessities. Office administrator, I did the formula of what we are currently paying Christina, which is $20 an hour for about 30 hours a week, times 52 weeks. And that was maybe an overestimate because maybe she's not always working 30 hours a week. Maybe she takes some days off, etc. But I just did the highest of what it might be. So that brings that out to $31,200. Organist and bookkeeper, I left the same. We don't have a nursery caregiver, so I left that at 0. So the employer Social Security, the formula is the employee salaries added up and multiplied by at 7.2%, which is $4,111, and I just rounded that up to $4,200. And staff health insurance is that $300 a month that we decided in our salary package for charity. That's that $300 that Doug was talking about earlier, that it has its own line item for staff health insurance. So $3,600 is that $300 a month for charities insurance, which this year will be a little bit less because it might not start till February, might not start. Who knows when it's going to actually start, but that's for 12 months. The sound manager budget is the same. You have it broken down for what we're paying. Could be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how many Sundays we're actually here or need it, or et cetera. Just some flexibility. We don't have a facilities manager. The janitor that we have is at $14,868. That is, you can see that $1,239 a month. They are coming once a week, and they are doing a lot of work once a week for us as far as cleaning and upkeep. When I saw that number, I was like, dang, that's how much we're paying them per year. But then I was like, but what we're getting out of like the service that we're getting is extensive, and it's more affordable than what we've been paying anybody else to date. So that's where that number has come from. Workers' comp, I left that the same because I wasn't sure how it would change. Facilities expenses is at $50,000, and that is, it's a wild guess. It's not arbitrary, but it's a made up number. As you can see, we allotted $25,000 for this year, and it ended up being $32,000. And we know that the air conditioner is coming up. That's not necessarily going to come out of the general budget, the AC issue. But I think I mentioned this last month that with having so many people in the building on such a regular basis, whether that's from Mary Seat of Wisdom, whether that's Clivy's David, whether that's Charity and Christina in the office and other groups, we're just becoming more and more aware of things that need to be taken care of, and we've been taking care of them. Now, some of those big expenses that we've had this year, we won't necessarily have again next year. Like we repaired and replaced a bunch of concrete out here at the entrance with the wheelchair entrance, and different slabs of concrete, replaced a railing that was disintegrating. That was, $4,000 or $5,000 expense, I think, that won't be on our tab next year. So there's things that we've taken care of this year that we weren't expecting to, but anyways, that 50,000 is, it's just there, because I don't know what to expect for the next year. Utilities, we budgeted 25,000. At this point, we're at 32. I think this is due to having more people in the building throughout the week. And so I put that up to 35,000, just kind of rounded up. Property insurance is going to be different. I don't know what it's going to be. Because as was mentioned, Church Mutual is not renewing with us, so we need to find something else. Luckily, it doesn't expire until March, so we've got some time to get that figured out. And so I just have no idea what it's going to be with another company. So I just left it the same, which brings our total expenses to $261,168. And obviously that's a big red number down at the bottom. So, some more thoughts that I have on this are the fact that we have a pastor now, which is awesome. And that's a bigger expense than we've had in the last 4 years. And so that's going to make a big change in our budget. Additionally, what I mentioned with our building, I think also we are trying to find sustainable solutions to problems that we're having, rather than, something that we'll fix and then we'll have to fix it in another year or 2 or 3. And so sustainable solutions can sometimes come at a higher cost. And so those are my biggest thoughts as far as why that number is so large down at the bottom, as far as in the red with our negative balance for what we have currently this year and what is projected for next year. So at this point, I'm actually going to hand it off to Doug to manage the conversation about it, because I'm the clerk and I also presented. So here you go, Doug.
All right. Molly, thank you. And thank you for all the work that you did and the thought you put into this process and this document. Are there questions or observations that you would like to raise about this proposed budget? That's what it is, a proposed budget. Molly, you did an excellent job of explaining things, I think. I think everybody understands that we can't foresee everything, and we try to build that into it. I'm not trying to rush through anything, but if there aren't any questions or objections, I will call for approval of this proposed budget to be adopted for next year. We all know that a budget is a guideline and it's not absolute. So I would probably just call out the attention of one thing, that we're looking at a deficit of $92,000. Of course, we know we have money. We prefer not to spend money like that. But if in order to operate our church in the way that we are comfortable, this is where we're at. And we have faith, and we also have means. And so with those things in mind, yes.
And just another thought too is that we have also sent out a preemptive, what is this called? Our Centennial Celebration Capital Campaign. And so that's going to be a process to kind of get that rolling, I guess, as far as like monitoring what money comes in and where it goes and things like that. And of course, this is kind of like an extensive or like a long-term campaign, because our, as it'll be 100 years in 2026 is the year, and obviously we're coming up in 2024. But it is something to think about as far as like ways that we can think about how we can move forward, not in such a deficit.
All right. Okay, having said that, and hearing no questions from our group, I would say all of those in favor of approving this budget for 2024, say, I approve. Thank you very much. I say the motion is approved.
Thanks, Doug. Okay, woof. Some other reports. I realized, just like I did the last time I was the clerk, I dropped the ball and I don't have the monthly vital statistics. So I don't know if there's any. Yeah, Juanita Benford in December. Okay. So Juanita Benford has passed. I don't think there's any other births or any other deaths. Okay, so there's one. Financial receipts and acknowledgments. I have a few, actually, from Great Plains Yearly Meeting. This came on November 21st, so this came after our last monthly meeting. This is from Connie Adams. Dear friends, it is my pleasure to say thank you on behalf of Great Plains Yearly Meeting for your recent missions gift of $500. The sustaining support of our monthly meetings keeps Great Plains Yearly Meeting vibrant and functioning. Thank you so much. Peace to you, Connie Adams. Then we have another one that was sent to us on November 30th from Stephen Donahoe from FCNL, Friends Committee on National Legislation. Dear University Friends Church, since the early days of the Religious Society of Friends, God's Spirit has led Quakers to be a prophetic witness and to take action in the world. Friends can play a unique role in discerning and envisioning a more peaceful, just, and inclusive world. And the Friends Committee on National Legislation was created to carry out this witness. In our advocacy work, FCNL is guided by the legislative priorities discerned by local Quaker meetings and churches across the country, and their financial support makes it possible for us to take action on these priorities. We thank the members of University Friends Church for their generous gift of $500, which we received on November 28th, 2023. As friends, our faith and practice convince us to work for the peaceful, just, equitable, and sustainable world we seek. We are ordinary people called to accomplish the extraordinary. This work continues with your support and engagement and with the ever-present grounding of spirit. Sincerely, Stephen Donahoe. He's the Associate General Secretary for Development at FCNL. And then one from Family Promise, a letter from Beth Schaefer's. Dear University Friends Church, as I write this letter to you, organizations all over the world are recognizing Giving Tuesday, a time when communities come together to support the causes that matter to them. At FPGW, we're focusing on giving thanks today, and you are definitely on the list of folks that I am thankful for. As a faithful, recurring donor to the mission of Family Promise of Greater Wichita, you are making a difference month after month in the lives of families and children in our community. I cannot overstate the impact of your faithful generosity. It takes recurring donors like you to create sustainability for FPGW programs and families. Because of your generosity, families are safe, warm, and well this season, and the FPGW team is dreaming of ways to serve even more families in the coming year. In fact, so far in 2023, we've already served more families than ever before. Across all of our programs, more than 550 families have been empowered to overcome homelessness or housing insecurity. Those families represent more than 1,300 children, and you've had a hand in impacting each of those lives. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. It's very cool. Thank you for your steady partnership in this mission. Thank you for offering hope to local families and for believing with us that every child deserves a home. I am grateful to be on this mission with you, and I hope that you see what a gift your support is for families in our community. Wishing you and yours a beautiful finish to 2023 and an abundance of joy in the year ahead. With a grateful heart, Beth Schaefer, Director of Development and Community Engagement at Family Promise. So that was our communications as well. So the next thing that we have is the approval of November monthly meeting minutes, which is this packet here. I'm not sure if we've had some time to look over it, if there's anything that we need to change. Yeah, that was the first thing that I saw on news of the meeting. There's a V, an additional letter there. Other things. I was just gonna point out, I think fiber should be ER.
She got English on that.
Yeah. Any other things anybody noticed? Okay. So at this point, I will call for approval with two just kind of slight changes on details, spelling. Approval of the November monthly meeting minutes. If we approve, say approve. Thank you. Are there any concerns of the meeting? Yes.
This is just so you can't say that there wasn't an outreach committee report in 2023. I've been looking at the statistics from our Facebook page. A lot of you don't have access to this. But as one of the page administrators, I can look at statistics. This is from the last 28 days. Our Facebook page has reached 746 people. That's down 40% from last month. Engagements, 264 people at least read some stuff or maybe listened to a sermon. That's up 21% from the previous month. We added 3 followers. That's down from the previous month. And people that watched at least 3 seconds of a sermon, 618. That's up 56% from the previous month. And some of you may have seen a few weeks ago, don't know whether I can go back to it, but we had. Is that 3 minutes or 3 seconds? 3 seconds. We had a home church that appeared in, was it Iraq? Pakistan, that has been joining us for services. And they had piped in on the comment section during the service and said we were a group of like 25 or so, I think, that have been enjoying your services. So we're reaching all around the world.
Greg, was that first one, was that 726? You said people reached. That was your first statistic. 746 people had visited the site.
She said our snow day service, we had 225 views on that service. That's very cool. These are cool statistics. Thank you for sharing. That's pretty neat. Any other concerns of the meeting you want to add? Yeah.
I know it's easy to come on Sunday morning and feel like, oh, there's so few of us. But I got to tell you that being in the building, this is a hopping place. If you come during the week, there's students from Mary's Seat of Wisdom who are learning in their classrooms or having chapel or in the gym. Sometimes it looks like they're learning to sword fight with sticks. I don't know what they're doing. But and on Wednesdays, this place is a madhouse. We're full from stem to stern, from morning to night. And that includes some of our stuff with our choir and bell choir. That includes Clavice David and their programming. And we've had friends using the space for quite a few events. We had Northfield School come over and use the space for their Christmas program, which was a whole production. I mean, curtains and lights and whatever. And we've been getting little visits here and there from Dean, who's the women's basketball coach at Friends University, has come over, and he's asked if we could feed the women's basketball team because they will be back on campus 3 weeks before the cafeteria opens. So I said, sign us up for 2 meals. I'll cook them if I need to. But if you know how to cook, I plan on hearing from me in the next couple of weeks as we make plans for that. So there are things that are happening that are kind of quiet and behind the scenes. And when the new year starts, I'll be going out with Larry and looking to see where the sprinkler heads are so we can plot out some garden plots and for our community garden next summer. And be expecting to hear about a weekly family meal or a monthly family meal outside of Sunday morning where we can just provide space for people to build community and relationships. And that can include you. It doesn't have to. We'd love to see your face, but don't feel like just because you can't come that it's not still a good, worthy, viable investment for our community of faith. And as we hopefully start to build some connections again on Friends Campus with students, at least, to provide them with a place where they can come and be themselves and be encouraged and loved on. I have hope. So I have hope. Fred Kraft was here this morning and he said the same thing to Doug and to me. He said, this is the first time I've been here for a while where I'm leaving and I have hope. So, and that's not just me. I don't take credit for that, okay? I didn't bring myself here. Yeah, I don't even think you brought me here. God brought me here. We're here together to work in partnership, to do what the Spirit leads us to do together as a community. And I think that there's always hope in that. So. Yes. Oh, Beth hasn't been in on this conversation yet. So I've had some conversations with folks kind of in the coming stages in March, and then when I was here in June, and then kind of some dripping conversations this fall about putting some boxes, some garden boxes, maybe 4x8 out here on the lawn, right? Which right now is just lawn, which is fine, it's beautiful. But we could also use that sunshine to invite our neighbors to come and either rent a box. We've talked about a nominal fee, $25 maybe, to help with water, and as an personal investment. And you know, people garden at the same time. They garden in the morning and they garden at night. Nobody's here in June at noon gardening. And so it's a natural rhythm of gathering time for people to come and to build community. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're interested, maybe you don't have a garden and you did once upon a time, Beth McDonald, and you want to come use a box here to grow vegetables or pretty flowers or whatever, pollinator plants to help the bees, whatever floats your boat. So, or maybe you've used to have a big garden and you need a small garden, Rhonda Newby, and you miss your tomatoes. So it's whatever it needs to be, but be on the lookout. Things are happening.
I'm excited about the garden. I didn't know about that. That's cool. Okay. At this point, I think we can close in prayer. So let's take a moment to conclude our business. Thank you, God, for this community of friends and family as we are rooted in you and as we move forward and celebrate your birth this coming week. Thank you so much for guiding us and leading us through uncertainty and into the new year. Amen.